The rusted needle of the compass spun idly in Samuel's hand, a trinket of his former military life. The delicate touch of the Lakewood breeze on his scarred face suggested a normalcy that belied the peculiar cases that brought him there. He sat quietly in his rented room at the fringes of town, pictures of phantom apparitions and fragmented testimonies spread before him. From outside the window, the languid curl of the setting sun painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson, a stark contrast to the spectral images that dotted his workspace. A town haunted by shadows, he mumbled, rolling the words on his tongue as if tasting a strange cuisine. His open-mindedness tugged at his curiosity, yet his years of experience cautioned him. The local sheriff, a weary man with the air of one who had seen too many summers, had approached him earlier. Their words had danced around the truth, a gentle waltz of subtext and hidden meanings. "I ain't saying it's ghosts, Sam, but something's not right with that junkyard, and folk ain't sleeping too good," the sheriff had said, avoiding eye contact, his voice carrying a tremble of unspoken dread. Samuel found himself looking over the forsaken landscape, the junkyard's silhouette outlined by the dying sunlight. The whispers of wind through the metal graveyard sang a song of forgotten times and lingering spirits. He leaned back in his chair, a sliver of unease creeping into his thoughts. His sleepless nights and countless inquiries had always revolved around the living, the tangible. But the case hung in the space between reality and spectral fancy, an undefined realm that bore no footprints. His mind wandered to his past, his service days that had sculpted his being, the battles that scarred him, the losses that hollowed him. But each nightmare he had lived in his past stirred a peculiar strength within him, a relentless resolve. He had survived, he had endured, and he had learned the art of finding those lost, a pursuit that gave him purpose. Could he apply that strength to this spectral dilemma? Sighing deeply, he collected the fragments of his thoughts. His fingers traced the edges of a photo, showing a semi-transparent figure amidst the iron giants of the junkyard. "Folk ain't sleeping too good," he echoed the sheriff's words. The mystery of the haunted junkyard was his to uncover. The winds of Lakewood whispered unsettling stories, but he wasn't one to shy away from a challenge, especially not when the people of Lakewood looked to him for their lost peace. Shaking his head as if to ward off the dread that clawed at the corners of his mind, he collected the scattered testimonies. He grabbed his jacket, his compass, and braced himself for what awaited in the iron graveyard. As he shut the door behind him, the dying sunlight cast long, monstrous shadows on his room's wall, hinting at the uncanny journey that lay ahead. The iron monoliths of the junkyard stretched ominously before Samuel. Towers of abandoned relics, abandoned dreams, reached for the sky in a twisted mimicry of skyscrapers. It was a city unto itself, home to the discarded and the forgotten. As he walked its paths, the scent of rust and history clung to the air, a tangible manifestation of the eerie ambience. His boots scraped against the rough, metal-strewn terrain, the sound and aberration in the haunting silence that swathed the area. Each footfall echoed the pulse of his heartbeat, quickened by the unknown. The hulking masses of forgotten cars and miscellaneous machinery groaned under the weight of years and secrets, a symphony of despair that played out beneath the overcast sky. He found himself in the belly of the beast, surrounded by echoes of the past. He remembered the sheriff's words, their cryptic dance around reality. His experienced gaze roamed over the graveyard, searching, probing. Where an ordinary man might have seen a junkyard, Samuel saw a puzzle, a labyrinth of lost stories. His journey was punctuated by the cawing of crows, the wind's whisper through rusted car hulks, and an ever-present sense of being watched. An uncanny chill trickled down his spine as he sifted through the scraps, shadows playing tricks on his vision. He could almost hear the whispers of spectral apparitions. In this quiet heart of oblivion, something stirred within him. As he dug deeper into the maw of forgotten metal, he felt a shift in his perception. A creeping unease nestled within the corners of his mind, like tendrils of smoke winding around his consciousness. His once solid world started to fracture at the edges, the first of many visions teasing his sanity. These hallucinations, for he couldn't call them anything else, were fragments of otherworldly landscapes. Monstrous, unnameable entities that reeked of cosmic dread flitted through his mind. They bore no resemblance to his trauma-induced flashbacks, carrying an undercurrent of something far more alien, far more terrifying. "Get a hold of yourself, Sam," he murmured, clenching his fists. He was used to handling the nightmares of his past, but this was entirely different. As he navigated the labyrinth of the junkyard, he felt a connection with it. Each rusted piece told a story, hinted at a mystery far beyond the realm of the ordinary. The entities in his visions and the ghosts of the junkyard seemed intertwined, two facets of a cosmic horror he was just beginning to perceive. It wasn't long before the realization dawned on him. He wasn't merely investigating a haunting, he had become a part of it. His role was no longer the one of an observer, but of a pawn caught in a game of cosmic proportions. With the setting of the sun, the wind picked up, sending a chill across the desolate expanse. Shadows lengthened and twisted into grotesque parodies of reality. Lost in the visions and the enigma of the junkyard, he could only press on, for the horrors of the iron graveyard had only just begun to unfold. Samuel's world morphed into a cacophony of unsettling visions and spectral whispers. Days blurred into nights, delineated only by the shift from the stark, harsh sunlight to the eerie moonglow that bathed the junkyard. His existence oscillated between the rusted reality of the everyday life and the inexplicable cosmos that unraveled in his mind. Each vision was a plunge into the abyss, pulling him deeper into a reality far removed from his own. Cosmic entities of indescribable horror revealed themselves in fleeting moments of lucidity, their grotesque forms etching a nightmare into his psyche. The language they whispered held no place in the human lexicon, but their intent, a malignant purpose, a cosmic hunger, reverberated through his dwindling sanity. His former life as a soldier, the horrors of war he had weathered, provided no armor against this onslaught. This was not the product of human conflict or emotional trauma. It was something ancient, something that existed before the dawn of man, something fundamentally other. The junkyard, it's a gateway, he muttered to himself, the realization sending a shiver down his spine. The ghosts weren't mere phantoms. They were emissaries of this dark power. In his quest for answers, he found himself drawn to the townsfolk, their folklore, their hidden stories. Each shared tale was a puzzle piece, contributing to the ever-darkening picture of Lakewood's haunting. From the town librarian, a frail woman who cradled ancient books with care only a lover could show, he discovered the town's occult history. "It's been around longer than any of us, that junkyard," she said, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and awe. "It's seen things, heard things, absorbed things. You're treading on sacred, cursed ground, Samuel." He devoured books on occultism, ancient mythology, and quantum physics, searching for an understanding, a lifeline in the spiraling chaos. Yet the more he learned, the more the abyss widened, the visions intensifying in their horror and frequency. They were not hallucinations, they were messages, communications from a realm beyond his comprehension. The dark power, the cosmic force that held sway over the junkyard, began to reveal its true nature. It was an eater of worlds, a collector of lost souls, its tendrils reaching out through time and space. Lakewood, with its history of forgotten souls and discarded dreams, was a ripe feeding ground. As the pieces fell into place, his sanity teetered on the edge of the abyss. The private investigator, the soldier, the beacon of hope for the lost, was drowning in a cosmic sea, his life now a beacon for a dark power beyond comprehension. Yet he couldn't escape. The gravity of the situation held him captive, his curiosity, his will to protect innocence, ensnaring him deeper into the cosmic nightmare. The last vestiges of the day's light slipped away, giving way to the night's spectral luminescence. Lost in his world of visions, he felt the iron graveyard's life pulse in sync with the cosmic entities in his mind. An abyss yawned wide before him, a darkness that promised to reveal answers and horrors alike. With a heavy heart, he stepped closer to the edge, the winds of Lakewood echoing with the whispers of the dark power, ushering him into a realm of the unknown. The last vestiges of Samuel's once mundane life disintegrated as he plunged further into the abyss of his visions. Time distorted, became a mere concept, and reality split, birthing a terrifying cosmos teetering on the brink of existence and non-existence. He was no longer merely walking the ghost-ridden paths of the junkyard. He was navigating the twisted labyrinth of a cosmic nightmare. The iron graveyard breathed with an unholy life, its eerie pulse resonating with the cosmic drumbeat echoing in his mind. Each spectral apparition that flickered into existence around him sang a piece of the Eldritch Symphony, a macabre melody weaved of fear and awe. The entities that once merely haunted his visions now stood corporeal before him, their grotesque forms a chilling testament to the dark power's hold over Lakewood. He could feel it, a heavy presence that seeped from the core of the junkyard, permeating every rusted scrap and every spectral echo. It bore a sense of familiarity now, a dark kinship formed of shared knowledge and mutual recognition. The dark power knew him, knew his strengths, his vulnerabilities, his relentless pursuit for the truth. And in turn, he recognized it. The cosmic entity, the otherworldly force that had consumed Lakewood's lost souls. As the abyss beckoned, a part of him resisted, clung to the remnants of his humanity. But the allure of the unknown, the promise of answers to questions he didn't dare voice, whispered a siren's call. With each step deeper into the junkyard, with each ghostly wail that filled the frigid air, he was drawn inexorably towards surrender. His life as a soldier, a private investigator, a seeker of lost souls had prepared him for a battle of wills. His history of trauma and resilience had trained him to hold his ground in the face of fear. But this was a confrontation unlike any other. It was a test of sanity, a duel with the abyss, a dance with the very fabric of reality. The more he resisted, the more the visions intensified, tearing at the veil of his sanity. It was a vortex of colors and sounds, alien landscapes, and unspeakable horrors. The dark power's call, once a distant echo, was now a deafening roar within his mind. In the heart of the iron graveyard, under the cold gaze of a myriad of spectral beings, he found himself standing at the precipice of comprehension and madness. He was a part of the cosmic equation, a pivotal piece in the dark power's grand design. As the last strings of his sanity unraveled, he surrendered to the visions, to the cosmic song. A terrifying tranquility washed over him, a surrender to the abyss. The spectral beings, the discarded relics of the junkyard, the wind that whispered through the desolate expanse, they all bore witness to his transformation. The man who came to investigate the haunting of Lakewood was no more. He was now the harbinger, the messenger of a cosmic horror, a mortal shell chosen to voice the will of the unknown. He was the ghost of the junkyard, the warden of Lakewood's lost, the voice echoing in the winds. He had embraced the unknown, and in return, the unknown had embraced him, marking the end of a journey and the beginning of an enigma etched into the annals of cosmic horror. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.